Got 10 people with us. That's a gang. Let's go. So, hello everyone. This is Crypto Ranger. You're tuned in to Cryptopocalypse Now TV. We're doing this live. You're watching this later at some point throughout the day. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for subscribing, liking, and being here with us. So Bitcoin did something incredible and something expected. This is a screenshot from the platoon, as you can see. A clear head and shoulder pattern that's expected to reach a target, but Bitcoin satisfied all flavors and actually surpassed all expectations. I think the panic from the coronavirus market shakeout is incredibly strong right now, and so surprisingly, to me at least, we came down to 5.5k, and that was quite a nasty sell-off, of course. So today we're going to take a look at what's been happening with the price action. What can we expect for Bitcoin to do next? And also how we have a couple of updates for the community regarding MarketSpy, Platoon, and everything else. First off, before we go any further, I'd like to say that MarketSpy performed incredibly well during these tough times in the chop, and we are giving a copy of MarketSpy away to one lucky winner. If you haven't registered yet, do go to marketspy.net. You can find the link down below. Register with your email address. No spam, don't worry about that. And you can enter the sweepstakes giveaway. And we have about how long do we have? We have about 18 days remaining, and trust me, you will like it. You will like it. There will soon be a dashboard here and a couple other features. All the spies, exclusive. As you know, we had the affiliate program from day one. You can keep track of all your activities there, as well as get access to some exclusive strategies and things that are probably best kept private to the group. You will find it through the dashboard, and one of our members, Karen, has been really hard at work building it, making sure that you only have the best coming from us. And so I'm really excited about that. But the giveaway is happening right now, so go ahead and register for that. So we'll start a top-down approach, okay, from the higher time frames, and see what's going on here. First of all, the recent additions to MSX gave us a clear warning starting from weekly chart, even on the monthly. You see the red line here. This is money flow declining really hard. This dot over here, the crossover, was the final nail in the head, and you can see how this single candle here, Heiken-Ashi, it's an average of a couple of candles, but right off the top, rejected by the baseline in this region, similar to what happened here after a rally, a little flattening, a little chop. Came back down to 7k. We had this little rally, which I always suspected was sort of strange, not organic, or I don't know, just based on volume, when Twitter and YouTube guys were calling this the bottom of all bottoms, stock to flow model, everything else. I did not see any volume here to capitulate the participants, market participants. And so we're now seeing something credible that can be used to forecast further losses for Bitcoin, unfortunately. I'll explain why and how long. Before we go any further, let's take a look at what are we taking a look at? This is Bitstamp. Okay, so we have some data going all the way back, and that is all we need for now. Okay. As you can see, these white clusters of diamonds, the way they work is that whenever a new low is detected with certain parameters, they show up. So when there's an extreme candle in certain situations, of course, you will have in bullish markets, for example, they can show up and get picked up, or people would buy the dip because they're extreme and relatively favorable in bull markets to watch for these for an extension on the Fibonacci, the retracement level, to buy the dip. In our case, however, this is different. We are just entering what I believe could be a prolonged bear market. This was a very sharp sell-off, and the weekly is just giving us this M pattern, which I think is yet to complete. We're sitting right now on a very delicate level, about 6K roughly, to round it off. And this support has been tested multiple times over here before the famous breakdown back in November 18. And we're currently right where we should be in terms of the head and shoulder pattern that I talked about in the platoon, and that was kind of sitting there for days. Unfortunately, I was not able to partake in this shorting experience that many hopefully benefited from, knowing the directional bias to which way. We attempted to do a few scalps for the long side. Unfortunately, MarketSpy confirmed that that was not a bad idea. I think last trade was called for a little scalp long. Then we saw those nasty white X's. If you know the system, you know what I'm talking about, and those are usually very, very bad sign. Continuation in the same direction can be expected, and indeed that was the case in lower time frames. We'll get there in a second. Since this is the first candle, this diamond, and MarketSpy Armageddon in particular is now in the testing phase here, and what's been added is, the community built this. The community built it because many suggestions, many things that were sort of requested got added in. So ADX, directional movement index, DMI, plus and minus were added, and are now, when DMI is positive, you will see green candles and the intensity of them. Of course, the color can be modified. Speaking of modifications, for all of you guys who created some themes for MarketSpy, we found this novel way to actually allow people, users of MarketSpy, to customize their indicator for visual representation of their trading style. As you know, this is a highly customizable system. And actually this is something that I wanted to touch base on as well. Some have asked me if these signals are set in stone and they should be taken at face value, and for example, if it's a short, it's 100% short. I would say in most cases that is the case. And for you forex traders out there, you have to know that depending on the instrument that you're trading, you will need to turn off certain signals that do not make sense. If you're seeing lots of shuriken diamonds, you have to apply some logic and say, if price instantly reverses in the majority of cases where you see these, that means your instrument is behaving in such a manner that its character wants to tell you that upon seeing these, it's a good idea to actually scale into a long, because price is most likely to reverse. With Bitcoin, however, what you see is what you get. The indicator called off the top at around 10.3k. and ever since then we've been falling and falling and falling, and there hasn't been a single bullish sign. MSX gave us a couple of opportunities to long here and there, but beyond that, nothing major. So Armageddon completely destroyed this price action for Bitcoin, and basically new days, weeks ahead of what was coming. Now we have these confirmation bars based on SSL. It's a very decent entry and exit indicator. And I know the sell-off's been really sharp, and I'll tell you what that means, but right now we're seeing 2 empty. And even though it's a lagging indicator, SSL, it is still possible to apply to a weekly chart. And based on the market conditions right now, we can expect more of these hollow bars to follow. So this is a weekly chart, so the next you can expect to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're talking about 5 weeks, one month. Bitcoin halving is happening in about 2 months from now, 60 days, 59 days to be exact. But when you see these hollow bars like this show up in tandem together at the same time, it's not a good sign. It's not a good sign. It's the beginning of what's to come. And you may not like it, but you have to accept it. You have to stay neutral. I love Bitcoin and I hate being a bear, but I have to be when the market tells me to be. Could we see another relief rally coming our way? I believe so. The title of this video says that we're going to see Bitcoin rally up, and the reason I mention this is because by the way, we filled a gap and a couple of gaps. We also have a couple of gaps down below. This is a trading view chart that I found that was pre-made with all the gaps in them. Okay, so someone's done the work and it's all here. So I'm seeing that we have another gap down below, and that's 5,000. The immediate target is around that area in the short term. I'll tell you how we'll get there. But for now, there's some big news. If you go to Twitter, you go do a search for New York Fed. Okay, everyone's reporting 22 minutes ago, 23 minutes ago, New York Fed, Federal Reserve Bank of New York, will conduct purchases across a range of maturities. So they're going to be injecting money into the markets, about 1.5 trillion into the short-term lending market that banks use to lend to each other on Thursday and Friday. So they're bailing out these big boys, and I think the big boys that we hang out with, the Bitcoin big boys, will use this to pump the price. They will inject their own maybe Tether, I don't know, but something will cause Bitcoin to rally off of these freshly established lows, I think, and that would be an opportunity to short it, because this is a temp relief and I don't think it will be sustained. The targets, of course, will take a look at of how high Bitcoin can go over here, but just a random number out there by eyeballing the chart, I'll tell you that is 7.2 is possible in the short term. So there's a schedule that will allow you to know this is what's happening. $1 trillion, 1.5. It's crazy. This is some crazy stuff. There's lots of expert professional opinion on this. You can find out more details. I'm not going to repeat what's been stated here on Twitter and everywhere else already, but this is their response basically. to the chaos that's happening in the markets. Bitcoin will benefit. Bitcoin will benefit and reverse from here, most likely. So you can go ahead and scan some of this. There's a little piece right here where it says these changes are being made to address highly unusual disruptions in treasury financing markets associated with the coronavirus outbreak. So if you look at the time, if you're on Eastern time, so if you're in Canada, on the East Coast, if you're in New York, in the States on the East Coast, this is 1:30 p.m. Eastern time, and will settle on March 13th. It is now March 13th here, so this will be tomorrow, and Bitcoin is showing signs of resting on some significant support. And I think in the anticipation of all this, America just got up, and there should have been panic, a continuation of today's sell-off. But I think with this news, there will be a reevaluation and perhaps a little injection of hope, because this is not a good sign for the markets, even though this is quantitative easing happening right in front of us. But Bitcoin is, just the narrative alone is to respond to this aggressively and go the other way. And I think that is exactly what will happen. So the desk will continue to offer at least 175 billion in daily overnight repo operations, and at least 45 billion in 2-week term repo operations twice per week over this period. Twice per week. Okay, so yeah, next week we should see Bitcoin. There will be a reaction to this. It will rally, but it will not last. We'll be back. We'll be back very soon. Very soon. Right, so this actually would be the first target, 6.648. This level over here, the wick, would be the first target to short. Okay, so we're gonna probably climb up to here, short, go back to 6.2, maybe 6.4, and then bounce off again, and we'll attempt to re-enter the zone. But this order block here is now a significant resistance, I believe, and you will see in the coming weeks that is the case indeed. So weekly, we're just getting started. Now the delta between momentum X and Y is quite high. Momentum Z is showing us that it is soon going to be pulled back towards the zero line. Think of the zero line as the magnet. Eventually price has to come back, but we're just getting started, so we might go a little bit sideways, see a little chop here up to the purple line, which sits at 8K at most. If we see like a crazy out of nowhere bounce, I'll make sure to have my orders in there for an aggressive short. We're not out of the woods, not yet. Now, going back to 5 days, for example, let's see what we're seeing here. Same situation. Now, these waves that we have here, the short-term trend flow is showing us a little orange bar here. We have 3 days and 6 hours to go to maintain this bar. Now, this can change if price starts pumping out of nowhere. Okay. Yeah, you can see the new addition. We have a short signal right at the top and a long signal right at the bottom. I think there's another long signal here, another long signal here, and another short signal here. I think you guys will really love the new update. The yellow X's got removed because those were essentially super trend indicators when price would break a super trend, and because it's so lagging, sometimes you would see a yellow X at the bottom here and price would instantly reverse against it. So counting it as a continuation signal was unreliable in my book. But the baseline got broken here, and we got rejected by the purple line. You know, it's really important to scan the bigger time frames to sort of establish like the direction of what we should be looking for. Of course, as intraday traders here, Cryptopocalypse now, I'd say the majority of us, we want to be in and out. Doesn't really matter, but it can be a good reminder for you to take profit very fast. I always emphasize that you have to take profit as soon as you can. But you can see once this crosses the zero line, like it did over here, you can expect a little bit of chop and a continuation before any sort of attempt to reverse. But we just broke down below here. We have this thing. Oh yeah, by the way, you guys are wondering why the baseline 2 is overlaid with some pinkish and aqua colored overlay. This is a hull moving average that's being used right now, not the triple EMA tema that we're accustomed to. And the reason for this is, maybe I'll do another video, but just a little quick note: if you could probably experiment once this update comes out, we'll be able to see the difference between this and super trend. This is light years ahead of super trend. It happens faster, it's more accurate, it doesn't have any fake outs. And once you see the baseline, we had crosses when price would fall below, and we'll get like a little red sort of like a pressurized break, and it would change the color to indicate that the price is sitting below the baseline, and that's quite significant. However, with the hull moving average added on top, you could see that we were still okay here, and there's no reason to panic and sell. It's when it crosses like this, maybe I'll add a little arrow, is when we really should start freaking out, because this non-equal sign, as soon as it crossed down, the next candle, it was pretty obvious that the hull ribbon is now entered the resistance mode. We were in the blood here already, and so that would have been, it's so beautiful now. You can rely on it more as a confirmation signal. And the super trend that I wanted to add to DSR is actually going to not be included because it's lagging and it failed in ranges, whereas super trend, the hull moving average, performed well even on 1 minute to 5 minute charts. And I'll show you, we'll go back all the way down and show you what's happening. So let's check this out. 3D, same thing. What are we looking at? I was looking at this price action pin bar. You have your short signal, long signal here, and now the whole moving average is just entering. After this next candle, we'll be entering. The baseline broke, all the significant lines broke, and we're now looking that we were in the blood starting from here, where this turned into red and started going down. So the money flow is going to definitely cross below zero, and we'll see another major sell-off. Let Bitcoin climb up a bit. I wouldn't expect it to go really high, but maybe, yeah, about 7.2. I'll keep you updated in the platoon. But right now, the buys for this, 3 days to go. We have 5 hours remaining for the next 3D candle to open up, and it is not going to be a reversal candle. It might stay here for a little bit. It's gonna have a little wick like this before coming back and crashing down. That is for sure. So the 2-day chart, So bearish as hell, as you can say, as you can see. MarketSpy was just screaming at the top of its lungs. Any time frame, all time frames. Here's another short. These are the kind of things that I had access to while testing it before you guys can have it, and it's still being tested, but really successful in terms of pinpointing the most probable places. Yeah, people ask me, they say, is this like a buy sell signal? No, it shows you areas of trouble. You start seeing a whole bunch of signals, discoloration, and MSX is showing you like very bearish sign. You combine them together and you can actually establish your own system. I know some people in our group have already managed to separate parts, or the thing is, you don't need a pro account. You have DSR, Armageddon, and MSX acting together to give you the ultimate edge. And you can front run it, be a little bit faster with it, or you can wait for confirmation, which I prefer. And so this indicator gives you lots of confirmation here. And so we're looking like on 2 days we're about to cross the zero line. The zero line will get crossed like we did over here. Okay. So scaling to a short at half a candle, 7.2 I would say is a good number. That'll be the place to look for a short in the short term. And then we may see something like this. We may see a maximum of maybe $400, $500, $700 impulse up. That is very likely that this announcement from the Fed is going to cause some sort of reversal like that. And then we should be able to continue a bit lower, go a bit more down. Daily, let's take a look at the daily. What's there? So as you can see, there are no signs of any sort of major reversal. Any bounce right now should be shorted immediately. Okay, this is daily. Now daily is what I was looking at the top. See, there's a difference when you see something like this and you're pretty much after a huge sell-off, you're chopping. You're starting to get like a couple of signals here and there, but that should not be prioritized, because probably on this candle, a rise above our purple VWAP, or the volume weighted moving average, is a good indicator. Combined with this dot, momentum actually started from here. As you can see, short-term trend flow turned gray and started rising and rising and rising. We entered the turbo mode, this pink area. Overbought action keeps going, keeps going, keeps going. You got your flags to take money along the way, and finally we came to like a peak over here and started seeing some nasty little signals. First the shuriken star, then once we enter this blood zone over here, just like here, except with the whole moving average. Now you can see that this was all blue all along, so this was a dip. We didn't have that before, so we couldn't tell if this breakdown of the moving average was of any significance. Now we know that until it turns pinkish from blue, we should probably not be shorting, but using the opportunity to buy the dip and ignoring any bearish signs. Now it's different. We can actually tell that here there was a crossover after this pump, and this X that marked the spot and peers below the baseline. We were okay to short and place our stops above the two previous highs of the candles before, and that was a really nice demonstration of what is possible when you take your time, especially on this is a daily time frame. No rush whatsoever. Not gonna see a huge candle up or down. This takes time to develop, so you just chill, prepare your plan, see how much you want to put into a trade. Use the perfect trade calculator that we talked about before. Put your BTC number, it will give you all you need to do to have a successful, perfect amount to trade with in terms of contracts. So, any signs of reversal here? No, but maybe when we have another GPS dot, and we will see it soon. And on top of that, maybe one of these grayed out boxes, hopefully two of them at the same time, we could expect a small rally. Now, if this happens by tomorrow and this stays like this, doesn't dump further. Is it dumping right now? It is dumping, isn't it? We should be able to see some perhaps like a little divergence or something, but I wouldn't count on it. I think this will go a bit more to the downside, lower than this previous dip over here. 12 hours. Check this out. Yeah, enter the bloody territory right here, the short signal, and drop below the baseline. Once we drop below the purple line, and actually Telegram, if you go to Telegram on our channel, I posted a little screenshot of this, and I said if we drop below the purple line, then expect us to keep falling and falling and falling, although I think it was a higher time frame, but it's true for all time frames. As you can see, another one of these diamond clusters, which means it's a heartbreaking short situation below both baselines as appears, and it's pinkish. It's pink over here, it's pink over here, it's pink over here. The whole way through it's pink. Before we couldn't know because we didn't have this whole moving average smoothing or confirmation signal, which works 10 times better than super trend. Tested, back tested 100%, but it cannot be used alone. So here it is a confirmation ribbon, nothing more. So RSI on 12 hours is looking like it wants to go sideways for a little bit. That's why I'm saying that not going to see a divergence here, not like this. It needs some more time, but we're pretty close. We're pretty close to that reversal. Let's see if the market picks up on the news, and there isn't I don't know what caused this. I don't know what the catalyst is, just a freak out event or what, but I can tell you something. I can tell you that when people were calling this the bottom, they're like, this is the bottom, this is the bottom right here. This was clearly not the bottom. This was not the bottom because there was no volume backing this. There was no capitulation volume. This volume bar here is beautiful. It is telling me that we may have triggered a capitulation event, unless there's another continuation. And in this case, if it is a capitulation volume and not a freak accident, and I don't think that it is, we should have another couple of smaller bars and another bar equal to or higher than this bar in terms of volume. So that's like the ultimate sell-off, where people just throw their towels, get disgusted with price action, and they're like, I can't take it anymore. total fear, that's when we buy. That is when we buy. Spot, I'm saying, if you want to accumulate spot Bitcoin. Shorting and longing derivatives as we trade is irrelevant. We just need to know the directional buys. Where are we going? What should we be looking for? Should we be buying the dips or shorting the rips? And in this case, I think due to the news, Bitcoin should be able to put in a low and then rally within the next couple of days. So we've got time. We can chill. If you didn't short, if you didn't take any part in this craziness, then that's actually good. I had automatic orders on Bybit exchange to get into cash. I put most of my BTC at 8K conditional sell automatic. And so I went to sleep. I woke up. I didn't have any BTC anymore. I was sitting on cash. And I'm still sitting on cash with a little bit of BTC remaining in my Bybit account in order to capture the potential rally and short it again. However, I am planning to buy Bitcoin a lot lower than this. We'll get there in a second. 6-hour time frame. So we started from weekly, and you saw on MarketSpy there's absolutely nothing to suggest that we have seen any confirmed long signals whatsoever. So hopefully this helps you understand what it is that you should be looking for. And those of you who have gotten this indicator recently, you truly have the power in your hands. You do. But you need to learn how to wield it. And I'm not talking about spending hours and hours. You just have to understand the logic of these signals and the way they occur, at what levels, and below which or above which baselines. Very important. And it's a system, right? It's not one of those like market god indicators where you buy, sell. It's based on ATR. This has so much going on for it. One of our traders, Uriel, is quite fond of ADX, DMI indicator, and so due to that, it was included here. So now you'll get these little nice arrows, which will be this is a test phase right now from what I was told, but you will have them in, which are based on ATR and ADX and a couple other things to show you at a glance what it is that you're looking at. And so, yeah, for example, like if you see this long signal, but MSX has a corrective mode still, probably not a good idea. Right next to the white X, below all baselines, not allowed to long. Now here, you climb up above the baseline, you have your long signal, you have a green square indicating that you should be taking profits from this short because we're going to have a little relief rally. And sure enough, right at this point, right at this arrow, right down below, short-term trend flow turned positive. And we started moving up. And this is money coming into the market. You have your flag, get out of there. Then you have a short signal and you're thinking, okay, is that legit? Of course, momentum is dying off. Short-term trend flow is nearing the zero line. Momentum wave is going down. The white area is now behind the blue. It's transitioning. RSI is falling. So momentum is in favor of this signal. And that is how you trade, whether it's Forex or anything else. You have to sit there, analyze these things. It's basically one screen, multi-monitor, 100 indicators at the same time, but packaged into this one at a glance. And of course, you have your levels, you have your market sentiment, you have your news events that could drive this potential price down. But it's worth it because you get a signal not on a huge candle like this, but on a tiny candle where you can put a stop right above it, enter the short, Hail Mary and sit on it. Goes your way, hold it. Hold it, hold it, hold it. And you should still be holding it. You have your Christmas tree over here telling you that none of the industry standard indicators are green. None of them. So you're good. We're going to see a small rally soon. We're seeing it now. You see the candle is getting smaller. Ooh, this is yeah, this was 4 hours. This was 4 hours. Was gonna make a call. I was actually busy with something, but just when I was about to say that, you know, let's go, let's gizzo, and I didn't know how far down it would go. But I was thinking maybe around this level. Okay, but when it happened, I was like, okay, my guys, they probably know what they're doing. They're big boys. They can figure it out. But again, confirmations of shorts falling below both baselines. We're here, baseline drop, hitting it, falling below it. You have your momentum confirmation, 100% short. So if you have the time and you're not busy at the time and you happen to get notified, alarmed. By the way, we have those alarms on Discord if you have them enabled. But and if you only focus on 4 hours, for example, you come quickly and check. You see what's going on. This shuriken, even though it gave you some profitable trade, if you're leveraged up, all you need is one candle. All you need is one candle and wait for the next opportunity if you want to be safe. However, there was this short and this kind of like momentum is going up. Momentum is going up and the GPS dot right near it. So probably not a good idea to short right here with size. Maybe just wait it out a little bit, see what happens, let it wiggle. Okay, you see momentum creeping up, you see a green dot. Next candle, you're looking at momentum turning over here, and starting from this point, from here, it actually started to go up once it entered the short-term trend flow. So you could have entered here, 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 here. It doesn't matter, and ignore anything that comes after it. For example, this non-equal sign, when the two EMAs are not parallel to each other and one sits below, the 5 drops below 10. This is usually a bearish sign, as you can see over here, or even over here. But in this case, you're in the green. The Hull moving average is holding you up. You're above the baseline 1, and your momentum is in your favor. So you're a-okay. See the flag? Get up out of there. And the flag, you do not want to set these alerts as once per bar close. You should set them as once per bar. They fire off, take your money. Put a limit, get out of there. So as soon as they flash, that's how they should be set. These other ones must be confirmed. The red X, the non-equal sign, because price can reverse. These must be confirmed. You want to wait for the bar close and then make a decision based on that, not before. So if you're looking at a 4 hour, you might have to wait a little bit to see if a red X is flashing. But you can also make some logical decisions and say, well, we've fallen below the baselines. There are certain rules here. If you're below the baselines, the probabilities of this reversing instantly is not that high. Price may come back up to the top or above your entry. You would most likely be instantly in the minus. But you have to have faith, and you have to say that a reversal, an instantaneous reversal, if you scan back, is almost non-existent when something like this happens. And when momentum is pushing down, especially when you have these bloody red money flow, trend flow going down together in tandem at the same time, you just have to catch it. You have to be there in the moment. Last couple of weeks, unfortunately, coronavirus, I'm in the epicenter of all things corona, and it's been really hectic with the family and everything, because we're in close quarters right next to each other all the time, and focusing on this has been extremely difficult. So I parked out in cash when we started falling right below this level, 8,000. You know, I was like, okay, if we go below 8, I'm out. And I posted it in the platoon. I said, listen, if If we fall below 8, I should be out. And I was. And so here we are. If you didn't trade, great. If you traded, great. The thing is, you want to be in cash or in coin, and you may lose the opportunity to trade. So you may give up some of your gains, but at least you know you're well prepared. At least you know there's another day waiting for you. At least you know that things are going to be okay because you're flat. So giving up opportunities and gains is okay. Losing is not okay. Forcing something that's not there is not okay. On lower time frames in the future, you will see little signals like that that you could scalp potentially. Of course, you'd have to use some price action or confirm that early and go against the grain, so to say. You're in the green. It's only here at this level. This is a 3-hour chart that you would consider shorting once you fell below the first baseline. And this pink is pretty clear that you're now sitting below second baseline, first baseline. Momentum is again in your favor. This green long-term trend flow, the reason it's called long-term, because when it starts turning red like this from the green, not here, not here. Here you already know what it is, but when it starts turning from the green, especially the longer the green, the higher the chances that it is the stronger the signal. I mentioned that you may have these dots. They're now closer to the line. They're not offset like they used to be before. If you notice, they're kind of like smooth and nice now. So 1, 2, 1, 2. You know this is a choppy market. You should give it some breathing room. When you have 1 and you have a smooth continuation, that's a good sign. That's a good sign that perhaps things are not that bad. Here was a little tricky because it looked like it was going below. It did not. But of course, you have your baseline holding it. So there's a lot of, if you were to program this and to implement, there are way too many variables for a computer or a program to understand and say. That's why all the other indicators will always give you these false signals, because people are trying to package it in with this buy-sell signal that is singular. And no matter what formula they use, nothing beats a human eye. Emotional intelligence, discretional approach to trading based on what you see. You have to work together with the machine. You cannot let it be its own thing and say, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. So you have to apply some logic and wait it out. These things don't know how to wait. It doesn't know if it's the bottom or the top. It just knows there's weakness, and it's up to you to decide. Do you want to take it, treat it as weakness or not? Remember, after a sell-off, when you start seeing weakness again, and remember, each candle is 3 hours, so that's a long ass time. You want to give it some time. You want to ignore this. You want to ignore this. You want to ignore this. Only when price starts to put in new highs, 1, 2, 3. I'll give you a little tip, guys. 1, 2, 3. It doesn't matter if but like 1, 2, 3, and you have a count. Start paying attention on the third count to the signals that you see on any time frame. Here, 1, 2, we should see another low. That 3 will be a good place to long. So you have 1, 2, 3. Start looking for longs. That's your signal right there. So same here, bearish as hell, right at the top. Then you have your patterns. You have your triangles, you have your wedges, you have all kinds of stuff going on. Here, look at this. Price is going up. You're not seeing any bearish signs. Whoops, dropped. We're in the blood. You got your first signs. The first sign that you see, don't do it. Give it some space. Give it some space. Whoop, dip below the first baseline. Now you're still in the green, but short-term momentum is now favors a short-term correction. Now, when you see all these signals, scale in your long. Put in a short. Ignore this long signal. Just know that this is a temporary thrust up, like this. Put in your shorts up to just like a stop, or what you can do is place your entry at the previous high, shorting it, because you can expect price to fake out, and it did over here. Picked you up and then smash back down. Signals confirmed to hold it below the baseline. Drop. Got one of these signals over here, and seeing like this green dot, that's your exit signal. And of course you got your line, the trend line holding it. So that's a way to interpret it. Okay, this is a 2-hour chart. This is, I would say, a valid signal. However, you would probably freak out and get stopped out because it's a chop zone. However, the short, despite all this here, is showing you that you see how small it is. There's like a lot of choppiness here. So if you entered and price went against you instantly, if after 2, 3, 4, 5 hours it's still there, close your position, or place your take profit $1 or 50 cents below your entry point to exit it in profit, or take a small loss, tiny loss, but never hold it if it doesn't go your way instantly. Anyways, short, lots of short signals, lots of nastiness over here. Again, you have a repeated pattern. This for example, you will see this in the new update. Momentum is correcting. It's correcting. RSI is bottomed out, but you're still below both baselines. So longing is not allowed. Signal should be ignored. It's not that it's not accurate. It's telling you that it's bottoming out, but there are fundamental forces at play, and the more powerful, so to say, implications for shorting, in favor of shorting here. You have more arguments for that. And what's the difference between this one here and this one here? You will see in the next update that when you see this signal, it is time to pay attention. You have bull, GPS, bull, and here on this line, exactly, now you have momentum. Short-term corrective wave started to go up. So you enter on this, place your stop right below the entry, as this was the point of a transition to a bullish territory. Sometimes you'll get stopped out, but if you entered over here and place your stop right at the bottom of this, the smaller the candle, the tighter your stop is. So you hold it. It never came back to pick you up. And of course there was a sharp sell-off, but usually on this purple line you should be taking profit anyways, or even here, very, very fast. Anyways, look at that nasty stuff. Volume's kind of falling off. We are going to see another drop back down to 5798 or so, I think. Would probably be a good place to long, as we will range here for a little bit before bouncing, or barting as they say, 7,000, and then you'll short it from here. You'll short it to hell. I'll short it. You'll short it with me. The platoon will short it. part 2 of this is coming at the baseline even. So this would be the area of interest. Now, can Bitcoin go to 2K? Why 2K? Why 3K? Why 4K? Why in that order? Why is it going down? Let's take a look. Oh, you have a couple of goodies added in here. You have daily open, weekly open, monthly open. I didn't even know. Let's see what they did there. Look at that, your ADX. So here's your weekly open, monthly open, and daily open. 8,000. You know, eventually we're gonna make our way all the way up there, right? We will. Maybe with these news or something. After we chop a little bit, there's gonna be another chi-like pump, I think. But no signs of that happening on 12 hours or anything. So we have to wait a little bit. Alright, let's turn Armageddon off for just one quick second. So head and shoulders, target, met. Ooh, look at that ad. I'll switch over to something more simple. Something more simple where we can see clear lines. I already discussed this with our platoon guys. They know what's going on, but this is a monthly chart essentially. And what you're seeing here, ladies and gentlemen, is a couple of trend lines. RSI crossing clearly below the 50 level, and we wanted to stay there. 1 month, we've still got like 2 weeks to go. So this could change. We could come back potentially above the 21 moving average, 21 period moving average daily, exponential moving average monthly, sorry. And that would cause people to instantly long, which I think would be a mistake given the broader market conditions right now. So the trend line here is established. This is using Bitunix with okayish volume. Okayish. We have not seen anything crazy on Bitunix yet, even though this candle is quite monstrous. It is tiny compared to others. It's not. It doesn't stand out. So I think there's still more juice left to be squeezed. Now, from a perspective of a chart pattern recognition expert, I would tell you that we have a channel that we broke out of, came back, hit this resistance level from 20K. This is a 20K resistance level. We came down, hit it, got rejected, and here we are. What's happening now is that we're entering. If this was a bullish retest, we would have in this area, we would have bounced right here. It is now resistance. Okay, if this was a bullish retest, we would have bounced off of this retest of the channel and made another high, potentially breaking out of here, and off we go. But that did not happen. So what happened was we hit the ceiling, rejected, and what's worse is that we didn't bounce on this 21 moving average, which happens to be sitting right at the top of the channel. And what that tells me that it's definitely a bearish continuation, that when something like this happens and we go back inside the channel, we're literally back inside the channel. So you can expect it to go all the way to the bottom of this channel. Maybe after a little bit of ranging, like so, maybe we will go up to here, and that would be quite high actually, just around like this this zone of resistance. Yeah, again, that's 21 EMA. I think we should be shorting at 21 EMA. We can go up, maybe create an illusion that we're coming out of this thing again, and maybe go sideways again, and come back out. So lots of choppiness ahead, and then get inside of this and finally succumb to the last. And at this point, Bitunix should have like a nice increasing volume bar, and this would be the capitulation that I'm talking about, which is roughly around $3,000 to $2,500 for Bitcoin. This is also the bottom of the Bollinger Bands channel, and using a classic trend following or support and resistance indicator, this is a simple a super trend, I believe. Yes, super trend. This is showing me that there's a strong support waiting for us, based on the indicator and based on price size. So this could be very quick and create reversal. And because this is a monthly chart, 1, 2, 3 candles, 2 months from now we have the event Bitcoin halving. So I expect another little candle into the channel, break out of the channel, maybe a little quick wick, and then go up to the halving. And right around the time of the halving or before, we trap a lot of people in longs and break down. If you want to attract fresh money to crypto, you must suppress these prices. You must push them down. You must make people be afraid. We have not seen the panic yet. This is not a panic candle yet. I hate it. This price action, 1, 2, 3 candles, was incredible to watch. What can we expect here? We can expect some choppiness like this. Candle up, candle down, candle up, candle down. So like I said, we'll probably come out of this channel, make people believe that long, it'll drop again, the platoon will short, it'll come back down inside the channel. That'll be 2 candles 2 months from now into the halving. It'll pump maybe to around here, 9,200, something around there. But it needs to break this channel spanning. It goes all the way from 20k. Which I think it'll fail to do, and that'll be the ultimate short. And then it'll grind up against it maybe, and once we have a breakout, we'll talk about longs. But for now, the directional bias based on this is down, way downtown. And so, can we reach this level? I think there's significant support. Markets have memories, and 3.5k around here, or maybe even the mid channel. Now remember, each one of these channels like this, when you draw them, they also have a median that runs like this. See, we're not using any custom pitchforks, just showing you that there's a median, and we still have space for another candle to come down to 4.8 or 4.7, and maybe then we'll bounce towards the halving, Right now, where do we go right now? 687, I would say, up to the top of this channel. So a little wick, and then we'll short it, a wick down. So that's the vision. That's the vision anyhow. I've seen this happen before in other markets, and I think Bitcoin is now under the influence of a lot of the people who used to trade. So traders, it's traders that drive these markets, manipulate price, and lead it, and then retail sort of like tails behind and goes wherever the price goes. So I think this is exactly what they're going to do in terms of price action. This is a monthly chart, so the arguments of you know, if you're going to see like a little reversal here or there, that's not really going to do much. Now 36 RSI, if it drops below 35, which based on the Bollinger Band expansion bands over here, we may actually see this volume over here. This is Bitunix. Pay attention. This was not here. All of this was fake. All of this was all of that. This was not the bottom. This chop zone, we got excited. It started going up. I was excited. Hell, we faced resistance here. What is this? What is this? This is the super trend, right? The super trend acted as resistance right at the top of it. We saw a little exhaustion here, a candle, a reversal pattern, another dragonfly, though, shooting star, and then we came back down. It's easy to dismiss or ignore these as they happen, because price starts to chop, and even though this candle looks very clean, it's kind of scary when you're looking at time frame, because they go up $100, $200, $300, up, down, up, down, up, down, before deciding to go in the direction. Classical pattern here, and that was the top. So if you know these candle patterns, and your indicator MarketSpy is showing you that, yeah, this is indeed the top, then you should start mapping out your take profit levels and basically look for places of entry where you can short. Now, if this indicator acted as support here once, at least for the cheap pump, acted as resistance, and same thing over here. So it's based on ATR, average true range, and how it goes, like touches the top and the bottom. The monthly here again, touched it here, touched it here. We don't have enough data to see what happened there, but one break, two break, three, we should expect it to come down. I think these lows should be swept, and there's a gap to support this this prediction, and the gap sits at, so here's another one, 5,200 in the near term. Then the next one is 4,860, and then the final gap is in this red area at 3,560. Okay, so a lot can happen here. I'm not saying we're gonna shoot straight down. That is not the case. But what I am saying is that, okay, I'm not saying that this is how it's going to play, but I'm saying that the ultimate target is 3, and once we get here, I think there will be so much panic and true capitulation with volume that it'll quite literally wick to like 1,000, 2,000 and create that V-neck, and that's how you attract fresh new money to come in and start investing in crypto again, because people have seen what is possible with Bitcoin, and by that time the market should be able to find some sort of for the lack of a better word, excuse to rally back up, and I think that excuse will be the vaccine for coronavirus. something along those lines. Something positive, something. But what are we looking at here realistically? The halvening is going to have a positive price action effect on Bitcoin, just roughly, right? We don't have to be precise, but 9K at most before it go down. So by this time next year, now bear markets, what are we looking at? 17 months. 17 months for traditional markets, maybe. Overall, excluding the corrective rallies, corrections that will happen in between, where it will seem like we're back on track, only to be, yeah, you understand. This is something that takes time, and so as long as you know the direction, and the reason I'm saying is because we need to not be attached and think about. If you think about Moon and Lambo, hodl. Don't do anything else. Hodl. If you want to trade and cash out every time you trade, every trade. Ooh, look at that! Look at that! I found something just now. Look at that! Look at that! Hold on a second. Hold. What? What? Look at this. Look at that. All right, let's do it precisely. Like these two must be connected. These are the ones that we want. Look. Ooh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now 6. Is this the bottom? Guys, yeah, this is another one of those episodes. Here's something for the bulls, and what, you know, when I find stuff like this, I cannot ignore it. Let's say that this was the wedge, and remember back when everything started, right over here when this breakout happened, and like it was the most magical, unbelievable moment because we've suffered like all of this shit, and then finally we broke out, and it was like, yes, a retest. Could this be? What does textbook, if you haven't watched my video on triangles or any other video on triangles, you should know something, that usually in 90% of the cases we have a triangle, a falling wedge. Price breaks out, comes back to retest the apex. Is this the apex or the slope of the triangle before bouncing and continuing much higher to the size of? Let's take the base and measure it, and I think I did measure this. Yes, I've measured this before, and I told you that we are going to take profit 12, and if we consider all this, and now another measurement from here to here as an extension of that, we're looking at 1817. Now, is that possible, or what? Is this something that the bulls can look forward to? Yes. How? What sort of news, developments, events, conference, something of that nature that could come along and solidify this theory, for example? Because this could be what you're looking at. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 breakout, retest, range, and off we go. So if that's the case, then we can potentially put that stock to flow model back into our field of view, because we are going to follow it. And that would be, just off top of my head right now, just looking at a couple of things right now, live for you people, live right here. Take a look. We are going to be meticulously precise with this. Okay, there you go. And we're going to move this so that it connects to the, supports the rising price here, and call this like a little fake out or whatever, like a transient zone right there. Okay. Now, see if the coronavirus Fed injection QE is happening, we should be able to climb back up above it. As a matter of fact, we already made a few attempts to go back above it at 6200, but we came back down below it again. If we enter this triangle and set the new lows and stay in there on the daily chart, this volume is growing, and if we see another candle open and go to 5, then we can definitely expect Bitcoin to keep falling towards 4. Yeah, and then eventually 3 and 2. Don't expect it to like bounce and reverse from there. If that's the case, if this is not a retest of this giant falling wedge, then it's simply going to go back inside the triangle, or like I illustrated here, for example, on the monthly chart. It is doing something similar right now when we are inside of this channel, falling channel. Should have been a bullish channel, broke out, fake out, come back down. Imagine this is a 5-minute time frame. What would you do here? Would you short it or would you long it? Imagine this is a 5-minute time frame. You're looking at some price action. What is this? Do you see, like, some people are saying inverse head and shoulders? I don't see any inverse head and shoulders here at all. I see price faking out, coming back inside of the channel, which means it'll keep bleeding away until an eventual breakdown. Man, we can't even go to this. Is 0 right there. So 2.5, 3K is the absolute bottom here, and after that, Bitcoin's dead, pretty much. Some bulls have waited for over 5 and 4 years now for this cycle to end, to be able to buy cheap. And once they start buying it cheap and start driving price up, they'll attract more and more investors, and by that time, hopefully we should see some improvement, some conditions improve, something to do with the current craziness that's happening on the markets. We should be able to see some positive conditions for a better market at that time. On RSI, these are two capitulate. Look at the size of this candle and the size of this candle, and look at the volume bars. This is on Bitunix. Look at the volume bars. Equal or higher in the previous capitulation volume, equal to or higher. We have not seen anything yet, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry to tell you that, but it's true. Which could also mean that any major buyers that step in now and push this price up and leave this like a like this over here. Look, remember this? Let's bring up another point, and you should not say it's impossible. Probable. Look at this. What is this candle? What kind of event took place here? This was the highest volume ever. This candle. It was higher than all the other candles that led us up to 20K. This candle here was incredible. Where was it? It was sitting at the base of super trend and above the 21 monthly moving average, the highest volume. Now, could this also from here go back and create a doji? Yes, it could do the same thing. And then what? Do you see this little wick? That means it could do another one of these. You know, it's Bitcoin, it's possible. And then what? And then instantly come back down, equal. Have another one. Pump up again. Drop. Drop. Pump. This is just to let you know that you should be prepared for these things. Okay, this is just and bazam. Okay, that's pretty rough. Oh, that's pretty rough because first of all, this trend line would probably in this region over here and over here would have a little breakout eventually, which will also be met with extreme selling pressure, because it either has to go higher than 14K to attract people, or it has to really go low to 2K, 3K in order to start attracting people. And then when we have something like this, this is what I would call a head and shoulder pattern in the making, where we will actually see this illustrated, this, and then it'll pump like a mother from here. 14K, 16K, 17K is possible after something like this. Okay, so that's just a projection of what you can expect. We can be seeing some extremely choppy waters ahead, but my bias is short. And this is a daily time frame. While that is happening on the monthly, again, if we're measuring this, suddenly this is quite realistic. Let's put this in perspective. So target was not met, but we can come back and meet this target. One of these here, or here. So could be 12.5, 11, 11.4, and about 13.5 or 14. Only after we attract new money, and why not fill the gap at the same time? So that's just I just wanted to share my thoughts and tell you what is possible. and what we should be, how flexible we should stay in response to the market. Prime XBT. Fed announces the injection of trillions starting from tomorrow. Price comes back down, going to range and probably start creeping up before crashing again. This would also probably pull the Bitcoin. This whole candle 1 and 2, they will reverse. You will see a BART pattern. This is a 15-minute chart. So from here to here, about 7.2, like I said before. This is horrible. 7.2 would give us this bar pattern that we can expect, and I think that's a great place to short after that. If we do see some momentum on MSX, I'll tell you too long, because I'll be pretty confident that we will eventually reach this level. I think CME is closed on Friday, which means tomorrow. So Saturday and Sunday we should see some trickery, and there's no tricking people. They know everyone is expecting it to go down, so instead it will go up. It'll go up, BART up, when CME finally opens on Monday, or however long they're planning to stay closed. I haven't looked, but there will be a gap. We'll fill it, you know, and a new chapter for Bitcoin begins again. Turbo. Stay away from it. My balance is still the same. Started with 1, went to 1.7, lost most of it, recovered, kept it. This is a video game. This is not real. I will do another video. I highly recommend you guys stay away from it, because after extensive testing, I found out that the delay in order placement. So first of all, it's no longer worth risking. You can do much better with tight stops and highly leveraged trades on Bybit if that's what you're up to. Prime XBT should mainly be used to trade stocks, commodities, FX pairs, and etc. with a Bitcoin depositor. So if you're Bitcoin, strictly Bitcoin, doesn't matter what it is, you like the convenience, this exchange should be used. The link is down below, but stay away from Turbo. It is unoptimized, extremely slow. The architecture, infrastructure cannot handle order placements correctly. On top of that, false advertising. They show you that they had a 5-second, 10-second time interval for this binary option play. However, what happened was they reduced the amount of payout by 10%. It was 90%. So now you're giving them 20% if you win, and you're giving them 100% of your bet if you lose. It's not worth it at all. This is just a demo balance video game. For example, to study price action on extremely high latency, fast turnaround, to see how algorithms think maybe. Not only that, maximum, remember in the last stream, we were able to bet up to 0.1. So 1K, rounded off, dollars, we were able. Now you're only able to do, so they reduced the amount that you can bet, which is good, because people probably start getting wrecked or something. I don't know who would trade this. I told you in the live stream you should stay away from this. It's extremely cool, fun to watch, but lots of buts, lots of warnings. It is not a product for retail. Nobody should be trading these binary options. Suicide. But yeah, the payout sucks. So go down, one up. And you could place before extremely high bets of 0.1, and now you're not able to do so. But it is a video game, nothing more, nothing less. So stay away from this thing for sure. The machine works in such a manner that you will lose if you put your real money in. I do not know how it works with real money. I tested. I made about 200 bucks instantly. Now you're not able to, because that's all you can bet. And I got out because when I placed an order, like look at this, 1, 2, 3. Do you see the price was right here and it placed the order below, even though it didn't go there? So it's cheating. Something is going on there. I'm not saying that to discriminate against the exchange, but I do take pride in trying to prevent you guys from acting recklessly upon. Do not engage with products that are so how do I say this, that are non-transparent. You don't know what's driving it, what liquidity providers they have, why this keeps on changing. So as a video game with a free demo balance, you should be okay. You can test it out in such a manner that it doesn't really hurt your account because it's fake money. And you can test it out using some strategies with MEXC, for example, which I found quite successful. But there's no this is something that they guarantee you, like a quick way to get rich scheme almost, by the way they advertise it, which is not true. They wouldn't have built this if this was profitable for you. This is a fast money grab for any exchange, not just Prime, but any exchange to make money off of. And yeah, you should be very careful with these products. With your real money, you should never put it in there. But go ahead and trade using your normal account. You have Dow Jones. You should actually, I recommend you guys, instead of going to TradingView, sign up with the link down below. Even if you don't trade under there, sign up, get access to this interface like this, and have it display on one of your monitors next to you. This is all you need. You have your 4 major you can actually customize what you want to see in terms of like your charts, so you can have multiple tabs, and by clicking with a single click you can open multiple tabs, and one can be set up as FX, the other one can be like commodities, third one can be stocks, equities, and fourth one could be your crypto, Bitcoin, and you can trade it just by right clicking, press buy or sell. It is 0.05 taker and maker fees, the cheapest from what I know, minus those free exchanges that are popping up with like 0 fee trading and stuff like that. But this is basically like a visual hub to monitor the market. When markets open, S&P, crude, Dow, you can see they start flashing over here, right over here, and they start moving. When markets are sleeping, they simply pause. So you can have Bitcoin and S&P running next to each other to see how they're doing in terms of correlation, and how one market reacts to another, if there's a disbalance or imbalance, if you can take advantage of money flow. It's a good indicator to have all these charts open next to each other using this exchange, Prime XBT. All right, so Bitcoin. Let's go to Bitstamp. Ranging as expected. Remember, when I go to bed, and if you guys stay up, Do not short, or if you want to short, scale into it, because in the next few hours it will go down to this line, 5780. 5780. You can see a reversal candle here, and there's a clean shaven candle. You can expect price to keep dipping a little bit, and maybe a red dot over here. So it will do something like this. Maybe not all the way there, but the direction is, it'll do something like this. Okay, so no action to be seen. When I wake up tomorrow, we'll see how this range develops and see if we can take a trade to the either side. I'll keep you posted. 2K Bitcoin possible? Absolutely. I give you the reasons why. I told you that I'm bearish. MSX, Armageddon, DSR. What? What? You want to see? You want to see the update for DSR that's coming? You want to see the new settings? Is that what I'm hearing? Okay. Whoa. What is this? What is this? I'll tell you what this is. This is going to be part of the new update. This is what Tone Vase uses for his analysis. A TD countdown sequential combo, but much better. You see this? Guys, I have a whole tutorial filtering and everything coming your way. Right now, it's already too late, obviously, but the system told us to buy. This green arrow here is the bottom. The risk sits right here in this tab, and it is close to 3,773. The risk is too high. You don't take this trade. Momentum is against you. There's no reason to. But if you did take it off of this signal, it would have been up quite significantly. $300, $400, $500 off of this signal. It prints in real time. You don't need a candle confirmation to know it. This is a momentum indicator. I'll tell you all about it once I have a chance to explore this further. I'll tell you how it works and how this is a Wall Street grade integration into DSR that's coming your way soon. I don't think you'll have an issue in terms of knowing where to place your stop loss, in terms of finding out true support and resistance, in terms of understanding true momentum together with MSX, doubling up on your position sizes and managing them all within the new DSR system. Really excited, but it's for another day. It's not ready yet. Things are being tested. And the rest of it is the same. The Fibonacci's are back. You have your lines. For example, here's a buy signal. Dot. You have your arrow. This area shows you that the bearishness is over. What is this? Blue 9. You have your sell signal. Risk line, blue line. Entry. Where was the entry? The entry was right here. All of that was yours. Momentum going down at the same time. Man, I can't wait. I can't wait to show you the Fibonacci extensions and take profit zones and how those work. Here's another sell setup. Here's your entry line right here. You have $270 in this range to take profit from. You have your support resistance, bull continuation, reload zones, and a whole bunch of other stuff It's quite sophisticated, but very simple to use once you understand the two simple things about it. And there's nothing to memorize. It's just you combine it in a certain way with MSX and it produces very, very favorable results with extreme accuracy for filtering and for also risk managing, position size calculations, and everything included. So in the next video, once this is out, once we publish it, you will be trading with Wall Street grade tools within MarketSpy. Now, Tone Vase is selling this system for $500, and you can also get the system for free on TradingView. MarketSpy will include the best flavor with optimizations deemed necessary after heavy sessions of consulting and talking to people who have used a TD sequential system, but in a very unique way compared to what's out there online. You will find that this will be the best package on TD sequential that's ever been put together. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the platoon. To all of you who are coming in here for the first time, thank you for tuning in as well. I mean, what else can I say? Glad to have you here. Cryptopocalypse now. And for some reason, we have merchandise. I don't even know how that happened. A couple of clicks and yeah, go at it. I think it's the best t-shirt with Bitcoin in the world. The back of it says send it. Would be ironic if you wore it. Don't wear it in a downtrend. Wear it when we're bullish and you will shine. It will attract Lambos, girls, or improve your kids' behavior if you're married and with children. See you guys next time.